Chapter 28 Dirty Sneakers and Melting Floors. There were 5 boys who came home in dirty sneakers right before dinner on a Saturday night. It would have been 4 boys, except Dylan brought his little brother with him. I overheard them on the bus Monday morning. By yesterday afternoon, the soles of my sneakers were just gone, Mike said. Mine too, Tommy said. My mom said she was going to kill me for what I did to the kitchen floor. You should see the holes in our deck. Something ate right through it. Then Tommy's voice again. I think I know who did this. I could feel them all staring at the back of my head. Annie looked at me like she could feel it too. My dad called the cops this morning, one of the boys said. He was afraid to touch the stuff. I saw it bubbling. It's like acid or something. The cops will arrest whoever did it, Tommy said. He said it loud right at me. I could still feel his stare, except I had no idea what they were talking about. Well, I had some idea, but I wasn't sure. I knew Tommy must be furious that his Mike impressing sneakers had been ruined. I knew Tommy's parents. They wouldn't go buying him a new pair if he ruined the first pair. It didn't make sense that they were blaming it on me, but 100 years ago people blamed other people for no reason at all. What are they talking about? Annie asked. I don't know. Sorry I didn't call you on Friday to let you know I got home okay, she said. I didn't think you heard me. How's Marvin? Fine, I guess. I wanted to say, still pooping toxic waste, but I didn't want Annie to know about Marvin's bad side yet. Thanks for coming with me on Friday. I'm so glad you got to meet him. I want to go down to the river to see his house, or den, or whatever, she said. My parents didn't know I was gone on Friday, so I was thinking maybe today I could come over again. You should. We could walk down. I can tell you some other stuff about Marvin, I said. I'll meet you at the creek at 4. I didn't answer because I was distracted. The boys kept talking about how the police were going to arrest a kid who poured acid on their decks and sneakers and stuff. So stupid. Like anyone would go around with acid ruining sneakers. You look pale, Annie said. I feel funny, I said. Please don't throw up on me. I smiled, and then the feeling came in my nose. Annie knew what to do. She got out 4 tissues and folded them twice and gave them to me. Annie Bell was my nosebleed hero. This nosebleed didn't stop. I was sent to the nurse after homeroom, and she made me lie down, and that usually helped. But this time it didn't. It was a gusher. The Earth Month fact of the day on the announcements was, Lake Karachay in Russia is the most polluted spot on Earth. The lake is so radioactive it could kill a child who stands near it for 5 minutes. Learn more about pollution and conservation in the library. Ms. M has all the books you need. The nurse kept checking on me and looking at the bloody tissues in the trash can and sighing. Sometimes she yelled at kids with headaches to test to see if they really had a headache. She wasn't the nicest nurse on the planet. As I lay there, I thought about what the boys on the bus were talking about that morning. Holes in their decks and steps? Ruined sneakers? It had to be Marvin's scat. They must have walked through his bathroom and tracked the stuff home, which meant their parents would soon figure everything out, and I had to do something. I don't know why Tommy thought I was somehow behind all of it. He knew me once. It wasn't like I was the one who'd changed. Even though I'd done what I did to their fort, I was still Creek Boy, the hippie, the freak, the kid who still didn't care about what kind of sneakers I wore. People are really weird. They just think you should be like them, pretty much. Dad thought I should be like him. Tommy thought I should be like him. I just wanted to be me, and I wanted my field back, and I wanted to save Marvin Gardens before Tommy's boys trapped him, or worse. Lying there on the nurse's cot, I realized that I could do some of this stuff, but I couldn't do others. Namely, I could be me, and I could save Marvin, maybe. But I could never get my field back. I don't know why it took 3 phases of developments for me to see it this clearly. But on that cot, on that day, I saw it and I took it in. And for the first time since phase 1, I cried about it. I wasn't thinking about Tommy or the police or the melting stuff or Marvin or Lake Karachay or anything else. I pictured everything the field once was. The spring fertilizer and plows, the summer corn and the way we'd measure how tall it was every week like some sort of seasonal clock, the harvest machines in autumn, and sledding down the hill toward the river in winter. Dried stalks sticking out of the snow. None of it would ever happen again, and I knew it. I lay there on the nurse's cot sobbing. Once I started, I couldn't stop. I made sure to be quiet so the nurse wouldn't hear me, but I cried so hard, I made my nose gush blood. It took me a few minutes to make myself feel better. When I grow up, I can buy my own field. It'll be Devlin's field because it'll be mine. Until then, I just have to get by. I cleaned up my tears and knew they'd still show. I didn't care. I heard classes moving in the hallway, so I'd been in the nurse's office more than an hour. She came into the little area where my cot was, checked the tissue on my nose, and said, "Okay, I'm going to send you home now. This one is stubborn. You need to see a doctor. They'll probably cauterize it for you." Cauterize it? It's just a thing they put up your nose to fix the vein that's weak. It's easy now. Back in my day, it was like soldering iron. Hot poker up your nose, not pretty. She said this in a voice like a backhoe. My little sister got it done. Smelled like burning flesh. She had to add that. I'm not sure why. "I'm going to call your mom now, okay?" I nodded, and she went to her nurse desk and called my mom. 20 minutes later, I was in the car, nose still gushing. Mom talked about what the nurse said to her about getting my nose cauterized and having to make a doctor's appointment for me. After a few minutes of silence, she said, "Do you know anything about the vandals who went around the neighborhood last night?" "I'm not sure I know what a vandal is," I lied. Doug, the pickup truck guy, had made it pretty clear on Friday night. "Someone who hurts other people's property and shoes or something like that. I got a call from Tommy's mother. Apparently his sneakers melted." Melted? That's what she said. How could that be someone else's fault other than Tommy's? I pictured Marvin in a cage. "Other things melted too," she said. Melted? That's the word the police kept using. The police said that someone melted Tommy's shoes? Why were you talking to police? I pictured Marvin in the back of a police car, in jail, on trial. Mom exhaled and blew her cheeks out. "Tommy told his mother that he thought you were the vandal." "Tommy wanted to blow up the bulldozers once," I said. "If anybody's a vandal, it's him." Maybe because I ruined their fort, they decided to blame me for everything. "I told them that you're a nice boy who cleans up other people's trash and that you hadn't hurt a thing in your life." Tommy's mother apologized for accusing you. She felt horrible. She said, "I don't know what happened to that kid, but he's not the boy I used to know." "Yeah," I said, "me neither."